Hello, and welcome to Cozy Bedtime, a snug little spot where evening stories and gentle relaxation lead the way to a peaceful night's sleep. Tonight, we share another soothing tale designed to calm your thoughts and invite a sense of comforting tranquility. But first, let's pause for a moment to prepare body and mind for rest. Find a comfortable position, and with each slow inhale and gentle exhale, imagine the day's worries drifting away. Detaching from daily busyness can be tough, especially as bedtime nears. But remember, the less we worry about falling asleep, the more easily our minds can release lingering tension. Allow the gentle rhythm of your breathing to wash away any leftover concerns, and let tonight's story guide you into deep relaxation. Now, settle in and let the warm, comforting atmosphere of cozy bedtime envelop you. Enjoy the story, and may your night be peaceful and restorative. Under the cloak of a late hour, you find yourself before a library, edifice of ages past, breathing an air thick with forgotten moments and latent enchantment. This is no ordinary repository of paper and ink. This is the Chronos Archive. Let us venture within, drawn by the silent promise of tonight's unfolding narrative. Before you loom doors of profound mahogany, their presence announced by a rich, resinous perfume and a surface polished to a dark gleam. Encircling each heavy frame, an intricate pattern weaves its unending path. A Celtic knot, symbol of eternity, rendered starkly beautiful against the deep-grained wood. A compulsion guides your hand. Fingers trace the cool, smooth labyrinth of its twists and returns. Where the twin doors converge, a singular image emerges, carved deep into the timber. A woman, regal and fierce. A circlet rests upon her brow, framing a cascade of untamed curls that seem to writhe with captured energy. One hand grips a formidable spear. The other is lifted, palm outward, in a gesture of unyielding spirit. She commands a magnificent chariot, its two steeds captured mid-rear, muscles taut, nostrils flared. As your fingertips brush across the carving, a phantom whinny seems to echo in the stillness. Who is she, this sovereign presence? What chronicles lie guarded beyond these ancient portals? A tremor of anticipation runs through you. You grasp the cool brass handle, a solid weight in your palm. With a soft, protesting groan, the immense doors swing inward, revealing a space that steals your breath. You stand upon the threshold of grandeur. For a moment, you are rooted, absorbing the scene. White marble, veined with gray like frozen rivers, stretches underfoot. Above, a coffered ceiling plunges skyward, its sunken panels creating intricate shadows. The walls, monolithic stone, are punctuated by stained glass windows, each a vibrant tableau. Daylight, though it is night outside, streams through them, shattering into kaleidoscopic jewels that dance and shimmer across the polished floor. You move forward, steps echoing softly in the vastness, drawn beneath the scintillating cascade of an immense chandelier, dripping crystal tears of light. In its gentle radiance, two staircases curve upward like embracing arms. Between them, affixed to the wall, rests a plaque of burnished gold. Curiosity pulls you closer. You read the engraved words aloud, your voice hushed in the echoing space. Welcome to the Chronos Archive. Only the most questing spirits discern its location. Every volume herein is a conduit to a distinct thread of time, a specific place upon the loom of existence. Whilst immersed in the past, you remain unseen, unheard. History cannot be altered, merely witnessed. Learn from it, for learn you must. Could it be true? The thought sparks a quiet smile. Choosing the leftward spiral, you ascend. Gradually, the second level unfurls. Endless rows of towering bookshelves, punctuated by columns of pristine marble that kiss the distant ceiling. Each shelf groans under the weight of countless books. Venerable tomes exuding that unique, intoxicating perfume of aged paper and latent magic. Musky, sweet, electric. Scanning the labyrinth of aisles, your gaze snags on a particular volume nestled amongst its brethren to the right. Its cover is the deep green of a moss-laden forest floor, the spine intricately bordered by the very same Celtic knot motif from the entrance doors. No title adorns its sturdy spine, only a stark date, 60 CE. As you slide it free, its velvety cover surprises you with its softness, its unexpected lightness in your grasp. You proceed onward, navigating the silent sentinels of shelves and columns, drawn towards a secluded alcove bathed in a soft, inviting luminescence. Here, nestled directly beneath a circular skylight piercing the high ceiling, lies a welcoming drift of cushions. Some mirror the forest green of your chosen book, glowing like unearthed emeralds in the focused beam from above. Others are patterned with a vibrant green tartan, interwoven with bold lines of azure, stark white, and crimson. Settle yourself amidst the plush mound, sinking into the yielding softness, the fine woolen texture a gentle caress against your skin. Comfort secured, you turn your focus to the book. The crisp rustle of turning pages is a satisfying counterpoint to the library's profound silence as you begin to read. In 43 CE, the nascent Emperor Claudius, ambitious to etch his name onto the annals of the mighty Roman Empire, cast his imperial gaze towards the long-coveted Isle of Britain, Britannia as it was known. Populated since the Iron Age by disparate tribes, many believed to have journeyed from the European mainland, these peoples would later be collectively termed Celts by historians. Yet, in truth, vast distinctions existed between them. Each tribe possessed its own realm, its unique tongue, its cherished customs and lore. One shared characteristic, however, was their fearsome reputation as warriors. Still, even their ferocity proved an insufficient bulwark against the disciplined might and strategic prowess of the Roman legions. Following Claudius's decree, 40,000 soldiers made landfall in Britannia's southeastern reaches, subjugating the eastern tribes with calculated efficiency. Thereafter, many tribal chieftains faced a stark choice: cooperate with the Roman conquerors or face annihilation. Among those who chose alliance was the king of the eastern Iceni tribe. He continued his reign, albeit as a client ruler under Rome's shadow. Like many neighbors in the lands now known as Norfolk and Suffolk, his people engaged in trade with the Romans. tentatively weaving the first threads of a Romano-British tapestry, peace settled, fragile, and temporary. Upon the king's demise, his will divided his kingdom between his two daughters and the Roman emperor. His consort, Queen Arduina, assumed sole leadership of the Iceni. Within Celtic society, a woman ascending to such authority was not unknown. To the Romans, steeped in patriarchal tradition, a female ruler was inconceivable, unworthy of recognition or respect. Thus, they contemptuously ignored the established treaties, annexed the kingdom, and seized Iceni lands by force. Underestimating Arduina, however, was a grave miscalculation. She emerged as a formidable adversary, a leader of keen intellect and unbending will. With impassioned eloquence, she rallied neighboring tribes, uniting them beneath her banner against the common oppressor, Rome. Ignited by the flames of vengeance, Arduina orchestrated a potent, meticulously planned uprising. Her influence swelled with each strategic move, until, by the eve of her final confrontation, she commanded an astonishing host, rumored to number 230,000. Ultimately, Arduina and her confederation could not halt the inexorable Roman conquest of Britannia, a campaign that would grind on for another 4 decades. Yet, she imparted a searing lesson, one that reverberated through the very foundations of the vast and seemingly invincible empire. As the Roman statesman and historian Cassius Dio would later record, all this ruin was brought upon the Romans by a woman, a fact which in itself caused them the greatest shame. The name Arduina, sometimes whispered in variant forms, resonates with ancient Celtic words signifying victory or height. Despite her eventual defeat, her legacy endures with a triumphant aura few could hope to achieve. To this day, she is remembered as the warrior queen who dared to defy the most formidable military machine the world had ever known. You pause, letting the weight of the narrative settle. What a chronicle, you muse. Setting the book gently beside you, you lace your fingers behind your head, gazing upward through the skylight into the imagined darkness beyond. Your thoughts drift back to the library's entrance doors, to the carved figure, the crowned woman, spear in hand, arm raised, wild hair streaming. Allow your eyes to close for just a moment. A peculiar sensation envelops you. Initially, it's a deepening plunge into the soft, evergreen cushions, a comforting density. Then, an impossible lightness takes hold, as if gravity has relinquished its claim. You feel buoyant, adrift, floating through dimensions of time and space towards a destination simultaneously alien and deeply familiar. A haven you've never known yet instantly recognize. Opening your eyes, you behold the same figure, the one etched upon the archive door. You assume it's merely a vivid daydream, a lingering impression. But then impossibly, change begins. Before your astonished gaze, the static wood quickens with color. The queen's visage and form bloom into life, adorned with the startling bright blue whorls of Celtic battle paint. Her hair ignites into a fiery cascade of red. Her gown transforms into a breathtaking green tartan, echoing the very pattern on the cushions where you just rested. The chariot she commands gleams with the luster of pure gold, pulled by magnificent chestnut steeds. You stand utterly captivated by the resplendent vitality of this warrior queen, witnessing a magical metamorphosis unfold. Looking down, you realize your feet rest not on marble, but on damp, yielding earth. The sharp, clean scent of open air fills your lungs. All around stretches the rolling panorama of the English countryside as it existed centuries ago. A low thrumming vibrates through the ground, a precursor to sound and motion. Behind the two majestic horses, her golden chariot rolls towards you, catching the sunlight in dazzling flashes. Arduina circles the clearing once, then again, her poise unwavering despite the uneven terrain. Her wild mane of coppery hair twists and dances in the wind, whipping across her painted face. Her tartan cloak, secured at the neck by a gleaming gold brooch, billows dramatically behind her. As she passes near, a fleeting, almost mischievous smile touches her lips. Finally, the horses slow their pace, and Arduina halts her glorious conveyance mere yards from where you stand. Close now, her presence is even more commanding. Tall, imposing, every inch the warrior queen. Her face, a canvas of swirling sapphire designs, turns in your direction. For a heart-stopping instant, you believe she sees you. But her piercing green eyes, sharp as shards of emerald, slide past, looking through you as if you were mere air. The words from the golden plaque echo in your mind. In the past, you will neither be seen nor heard. A thrill courses through you. To possess such an intimate vantage point, entirely unnoticed. With this realization, a tension you hadn't acknowledged dissolves. Your shoulders relax, dropping slightly. Your limbs feel strangely light, untethered. You follow as the queen dismounts gracefully and strides forward. Only now do you fully absorb your surroundings. You are positioned atop a large sculpted earthwork, a hill fort, the defensible heart of an Iron Age British community. Your gaze sweeps across the settlement. Much of it is embraced by a high timber palisade, reinforcing the natural sense of security afforded by the elevated position. From this vantage, you command a panoramic view of the vast, undulating green landscape stretching beyond the walls. Directly below the fort, livestock, cattle, sheep, goats, pigs, cluster within wooden enclosures, tended by watchful men and women. Adjacent lies a substantial crop field where numerous figures toil. Men guide heavy wooden plows, cutting dark furrows through the soil, their progress dictated by the slow, powerful rhythm of massive oxen. In the distance, under the hazy horizon, a thin ribbon of blue glimmers, the sea. You must be on Britannia's eastern coast, the domain of the Iceni. That water, then, is the body the Romans termed the Narrow Sea, later known as the English Channel. Even from afar, its distant, rhythmic pulse feels like a familiar greeting. A crisp, briny tang seasons the air. You stand mesmerized for a moment, drinking in the ancient panorama. Eventually, your attention returns to the life stirring within the hill fort's embrace. Here, the air hums with the industry of many hands, punctuated by bursts of conversation and laughter. Dwellings, Roundhouses dot the enclosure, their walls constructed from packed earth, stone, and timber, crowned with conical thatched roofs of reed. Beside some, animals drowse contentedly on sun-warmed patches of grass. Others feature small garden plots where neat rows of cabbages and corn push skyward, reaching for the intermittent sunlight. You wander deeper into the settlement's core, roundhouses flanking your path. The sounds of daily life intensify. People move with purpose, seemingly content in their routines, utterly oblivious to your spectral presence. Men wear simple tunics, cinched at the waist with leather belts. Women are clad in long, flowing dresses. Both favor cloaks of tartan, consistently displaying the same vibrant green, blue, white, and red crisscross pattern worn by the queen, the exact design that adorned the library cushions. You marvel at the quality, the vividness of the dyes, the precision of the woven lines. As if summoned by your thoughts, you pass a group of women engaged in that very craft. Near a roundhouse entrance, a young woman rhythmically stirs lengths of woolen thread in a large wooden barrel filled with liquid. The gentle sloshing sound mimics the distant murmur of the narrow sea. Peering closer, you see the liquid is a deep, intense indigo. A faint, sweet aroma, reminiscent of crushed blueberries, rises from the vat. Beside her, another woman stands before a tall wooden loom, already threaded with vibrant green, white, red, and blue yarns. With practiced dexterity and unwavering focus, she passes the shuttle back and forth, interlacing the threads, weaving the intricate pattern into existence. It seems incredible that people 2 millennia removed could produce such flawless, beautiful textiles. You witness firsthand their resourcefulness, their artistry, the quiet dignity of their labor. Evidence of the tribe's industrious skill surrounds you. From the adjacent roundhouse emanates the rhythmic clang of metalworking. Drawn by the sound, you step inside the smoky interior to find several artisans at their forges. One carefully heats a crucible of gold over a sizzling fire pit before pouring the molten liquid into a large circular mold. Nearby, another man methodically flattens a cooled strip of gold with steady hammer blows, creating a percussive beat. A third undertakes the most intricate task, his brow furrowed in concentration, though his movements are fluid. Using specialized iron and leather tools, he hammers strips of flattened gold around a circular form, coaxing them into complex twists and turns. The result is breathtaking. A heavy coiled golden neck ring, a torque, fit for Celtic nobility. You've never encountered jewelry of such raw, potent beauty. Continuing your exploration, you pass more roundhouses, each offering glimpses of life within or without. You see men crafting shields and swords, implements of defense and war. Children practice their aim with handmade wooden slingshots, loosing pebbles at makeshift targets. An elderly woman sits cross-legged before a large pottery wheel, spinning it steadily with a wooden stick. Her wet hands expertly shape and smooth the lump of gray clay at its center, transforming the formless mass into an elegant bowl. You linger, watching her rhythmic, meditative movements, finding a strange solace in the simple act of creation. The air here is pleasant, cool, invigorating, yet carrying a subtle, tantalizing aroma. Following the mouth-watering scent past dwellings and workshops, you arrive at a roundhouse noticeably larger and more substantial than the others. Its purpose quickly becomes clear. This is the residence of the Celtic Queen herself. Stepping across the threshold, you enter a warm, inviting space, heated by a central fire pit crackling merrily. Thick plumes of fragrant wood smoke drift upward, escaping through an opening in the thatched roof overhead, leaving behind the rich scent of cooking food. The floor is strewn with plush animal furs. Reaching down, you feel their surprising softness against your fingertips. More furs are piled amongst mounds of clean golden straw. Bedding, you surmise, for the warrior queen and her daughters. And there they are, seated comfortably around the hearth. The queen ladles a fragrant stew, thick with meat and vegetables, from a heavy cauldron suspended over the flames. Bowls are swiftly filled. Instinctively, you find a spare bowl and ladle, helping yourself before settling onto the soft furs, an unseen guest at the royal table. The stew is a vibrant medley of homegrown leeks, cabbage, parsnips, and carrots. You take a tentative bite. The flavors are rich, hearty, deeply satisfying. Notes of wild garlic and parsley mingle on your tongue. It's a meal imbued with comfort and warmth, evoking feelings of family, of belonging. Beside you, Arduina and her daughters, Era and Brialan, savor the last spoonfuls of their meal before setting the empty bowls aside on a low wooden table. They reach for goblets filled with a golden liquid, homemade mead, its honey-sweet fragrance perfuming the air. They sip contentedly, conversing easily, sharing anecdotes from their day, their faces illuminated by the flickering firelight. Arduina wears a magnificent golden torque, even more elaborate than the one you saw being crafted. Multiple strands are intricately braided around its heavy, ornate base, the terminals fashioned into complex Celtic knots. Her vibrant blue war paint has been washed away. Her tartan cloak hangs neatly on the wall. Stripped of her battle regalia, illuminated by the dancing flames, the warrior queen possesses a different kind of striking beauty. Her hair is a tumultuous sea of fiery red curls. Her intense eyes sparkle like polished emeralds. The formidable spirit you sensed earlier is still palpable, yet now softened by a visible tenderness, a maternal warmth you hadn't perceived before. She is undeniably the warrior queen, but here, in the sanctuary of her home, she is also a devoted mother. The girls chatter animatedly about their experiences within the fort, while Arduina recounts tales from her journeys further afield. Her eyes gleam with purpose, reflecting the firelight just as the polished swords and shields leaning against the curved walls do. Her words seem to infuse the very air with resolve. As you listen, unseen, unheard, she tells her daughters of her plans: to convene with the leaders of neighboring tribes, to persuade them to join the Iceni cause. Together, she states with quiet conviction, stroking her eldest daughter Era's hair, they will drive out the Roman invaders, securing freedom for their people, for her girls. What an extraordinary privilege to witness this intimate moment. A profound sense of peace settles over you, a feeling of contentment in this ancient, fire-lit space. You are unaware that the descending night holds further, gentler wonders. Noticing the deepening twilight through the smoke hole above, Arduina leads Era and Briellen outside. They lie side by side on a patch of cool grass near the roundhouse. You join them, mirroring their posture, gazing upward into a night sky ablaze with diamond dust stars, clearer and brighter than any you have ever witnessed. You recall reading of the Celts' deep reverence for the celestial bodies. You listen as Arduina speaks in low, soothing tones about the shifting constellations, their patterns, and positions holding deep meaning. She points towards the steadfast North Star. The destination, she explains, for Celtic souls in the afterlife, reached by ascending the spiraling star path beneath it. Lying there on the cool earth, the night air a soft breath against your face, you feel utterly serene. Allowing your eyes to drift closed, you again notice that peculiar lightness, that sense of buoyancy. Gently, effortlessly, you feel yourself floating, transported back through the currents of time and space, returning to the quiet sanctuary of the library where this incredible journey commenced. The glass expanse of the atrium ceiling now separates you from the star-dusted night. The green beneath you is no longer living grass, but the plush velvet of the cushions. Resting on a tartan pillow beside you lies your book, fallen open to a page depicting the warrior queen and her daughters. You regard the illustration with a knowing smile. It captures a likeness, yes, but fails to convey the true, vibrant force of the woman herself. The reality was far more potent, far more impressive. Closing the forest green cover, you nestle deeper into the soft cushions, allowing your whirlwind of thoughts to settle alongside you. And there, cradled in the quiet magic of the Chronos archive, you drift into a profound and dream-filled slumber. To behold a rose in its transient glory is to touch the very essence of the present, a sensory anchor in the flow of time. Yet this bloom, so vibrant, whispers too of fleetingness. Its life, measured in mere weeks, lends a poignant depth to our admiration, a beauty sharpened by its imminent departure. The rose, it seems, belongs utterly to the now. We seldom ponder the deep roots of such ephemeral grace. But delve deeper, and the rose reveals an astonishing antiquity. While not the planet's floral elders, these blossoms have graced the earth for an immense span, 35 million years at the very least. Consider a fossilized rose unearthed in the high plains of what is now Colorado, a silent testament to that vast age. Perspective is illuminating. When this ancient rose unfurled its petals, the great dinosaurs had already slumbered in extinction for some 30 million years. Our own species, Homo sapiens, emerged a mere 300,000 years past. That Colorado bloom, therefore, existed closer in time to the reign of reptiles than to the dawn of humankind. For millennia upon millennia, wild roses painted landscapes across the globe. Then, around 500 BCE, the first confirmed whispers of cultivation a rose from the heart of ancient China. Soundscape transition. It's conceivable that similar experiments were unfolding concurrently in the sun-drenched lands of the Mediterranean and Persia. Alongside tending the wild varieties, gardeners began coaxing forth new forms, nurturing a flower that would gain renown as the Cathay bloom. Soundscape transition. This particular lineage, celebrated for its capacity to flower continuously through the growing season, stands as the progenitor of countless modern cultivars. Emperors of the Celestial Empire developed a profound fascination with roses. The sage Caelan, living in the 6th century BCE, recorded the existence of 600 volumes dedicated solely to rose cultivation within the imperial library. This royal preoccupation endured for ages. Centuries later, during the Sunstone Dynasty, the empire witnessed rose cultivation on a staggering scale. So vast were the imperial rose fields, sprawling across palace grounds and commandeering the surrounding countryside, that they momentarily threatened the land available for essential farming. Elsewhere, the rose was weaving itself into the cultural fabric in different hues. Soundscape transition. In the cradles of Hellenic and Roman civilization, widespread cultivation akin to China's seems absent. Nevertheless, the rose resonated with potent symbolism and commanded high esteem. Perhaps it was here, under Grecian skies, that the flower first became entwined with love's fire. Lyra, the Hellenic embodiment of love, and her Roman reflection, Ethel, were both intimately linked with the rose. In Botticelli's famed The Birth of Ethel, the goddess arises from the ocean foam upon a shell, while winds scatter a cascade of pink roses around her. Myths abound, tying Lyra to these blossoms. One tells of white roses springing from the sea foam at her birth. Another recounts how a thorn pierced her foot, her divine blood staining the pale petals crimson forevermore. Like Lyra, Ethel reigned in Rome as the patroness of roses, devotion, and matrimony. Women carried roses as offerings to her temples, and the flowers frequently adorned bridal arrangements, seeding, perhaps, the Western tradition of the rose as love's emblem. Yet, the rose held other meanings, veiled and potent. Soundscape transition. For the Romans, it signified confidentiality, a pact of silence. A single rose, hung upon a door, marked a space for private, often political discourse. This practice evolved into another custom, embellishing the ceilings of banquet halls with roses. Guests, even when sub vinos, under wine's influence, were reminded they were also sub rosa, under the rose. The blossom served as a constant, silent admonition that words spoken there must remain confined within those walls. Intriguingly, mythology offers another layer to this tradition. Amorino, a lesser god of love, is said to have gifted a red rose to the deity of silence. His motive? To ensure his mother Ethel's romantic escapades remained secret, bribing discretion with the flower's beauty. In Roman society, roses also played vital roles in ceremony. Across the vast empire, the festival known as the Rosalia saw garlands of roses and other blooms tenderly placed upon burial sites. Here, roses spoke of a different love, remembrance, hope, and the promise of rebirth. Showers of petals rain down during triumphal parades, honoring victorious generals. Though these specific ancient rites have faded, the rose retains a ceremonial presence in Rome even today. Soundscape transition. The Pantheon, once a temple to all gods, now stands as a Catholic basilica. Each year at Pentecost, a breathtaking ritual unfolds. Tens of thousands of rose petals drift down through the oculus, the great opening in the dome blanketing the marble floor below in fragrant color. A magical shower symbolizing the Holy Spirit's descent. But while steeped in spiritual significance, the rose could equally embody earthly excess, the pinnacle of luxury and decadence. Turn again to ancient Rome and the notorious tale of Emperor Valerius Minor. A fleeting figure, ascending to power at 14 and reigning only briefly, legend paints him as more captivated by revelry than governance. At one infamous banquet, he reputedly orchestrated a deluge of rose petals released from the ceiling, so dense it threatened to suffocate his guests. A striking 19th century painting captures this imagined scene. The young emperor, lounging, indifferent amidst food and wine, while his companions vanish beneath a suffocating tide of pink blossoms. Another ancient narrative features the Egyptian queen Neferura, who employed roses as a dramatic stage for her allure. Her bedchamber, rumor insisted, was filled knee-deep with petals, and she purportedly favored pillows stuffed with their fragrant softness. Whether truth or embellishment, these extravagant stories illustrate how the rose became a cipher not just for affection, but for opulent power. Its value amplified by legend as much as by its intrinsic charm. There is more to the rose than captivates the eye or delights the nose. Across centuries and cultures, humanity has drawn upon the flower's practical virtues, its nutritional and medicinal gifts. The rose hip, the fruit swelling beneath the faded bloom, bursts with vitamin C. The petals themselves are credited with antibacterial and anti-inflammatory powers. In the pharmacopoeia of herbalism, they serve to calm troubled stomachs, alleviate stress and tension, elevate spirits, and more. The Rosa Gallica, the apothecary's rose, with its generous pink petals and rich scent, was a staple in medieval physic gardens, its essence distilled into remedies and perfumes. By steeping petals in water, their volatile oils can be captured, transforming them into fragrant essences. This art flourished not only in Europe, but also across Asia, notably in Persia, modern-day Iran. For hundreds of years, Iranian artisans have perfected the extraction of essential oil from rose petals. This precious attar scents perfumes and incense, while its byproduct, rose water, finds its way into culinary creations, beverages, and cosmetics. From potent remedies to ethereal fragrances, the rose offers a wealth of practical applications. Yet, for contemporary gardeners, its primary allure remains ornamental beauty. And within Western culture, the rose reigns supreme as the icon of romance. Beyond its status as the quintessential Valentine's offering, it blooms perennially in countless poems and songs. Curiously, the roots of the rose's modern romantic stature can be traced to a single, extraordinary garden, that of the Château de Malmaison, nestled some 15 kilometers west of Paris. Acquired in 1799, this elegant estate became the cherished residence of Amélie, wife of the formidable General Armand. In the early 19th century, while Armand pursued campaigns abroad, Amélie poured her energies into transforming the house and its grounds. Her childhood on the Caribbean isle of Martinique perhaps instilled in her a passion for collecting flora and fauna from distant corners of the world. "My aim," she declared in a letter, "is to gather the most beautiful and curious garden in Europe, a model of good cultivation." Amélie cultivated a dazzling array of exotic plants, even constructing a heated orangery for pineapples. Her domain also hosted a menagerie of creatures: kangaroos, zebras, ostriches, permitted to wander the estate freely. Soundscape transition. Visitors to the chateau in those days might have been most struck by encounters with Amélie's exotic pets. But the enduring legacy of Malmaison was its unparalleled rose garden. Soundscape transition. Amélie, sometimes affectionately nicknamed Rose, was an ardent collector, this flower holding pride of place in her heart. Aided by a skilled team of gardeners and botanists, she amassed approximately 250 distinct rose varieties within Malmaison's borders. Her ambition was encyclopedic: to possess every known rose on earth. General Armand even instructed the French Navy to seize seeds and plants from captured vessels, dispatching them directly to Amélie's burgeoning collection. This horticultural marvel was immortalized in paintings and botanical illustrations, becoming a beacon of inspiration for gardeners and rose breeders throughout Europe. Malmaison arguably stands as one of the world's first and most influential gardens dedicated primarily to the rose, a novel concept for its time. Amélie's vast and diverse collection yielded another crucial benefit. It included the ever-blooming roses originating from China. Unlike most European varieties, these Cathay blooms offered repeat performances throughout the season, a trait that endowed them with significant value and commercial promise. Soundscape transition. Horticulturists began experimenting, interweaving the lineages of different roses. Then, in the 19th century, French breeders achieved a breakthrough: the hybrid tea rose. This creation embodies what many consider the classic rose: fragrant, hardy, elegantly formed, and reliably reblooming. Crucially, the hybrid tea rose grows upon a long, sturdy stem, ideal for cutting and presenting as a solitary, eloquent gesture. These long-stemmed icons of romance, inextricably linked with Valentine's Day, can trace their ancestry, albeit indirectly, back to Amélie's garden. The Empress played an unwitting yet pivotal role in shaping the modern rose industry. In essence, the rose's romantic symbolism, as understood in the West, evolved over 2 millennia. Its association with love likely began with the Hellenic Lyra and her Roman counterpart, Ethel. Centuries later, Inspired by Empress Amelie's horticultural passion, breeders crafted the hybrid tea rose, merging the finest qualities of European and Asian varieties. This bloom, commercially appealing and perfectly suited to the Victorian era's language of flowers, cemented the rose's status as the paramount gift of love. But the narrative continues. Gardeners today persist in the quest for new rose expressions, experimenting with diverse parentages, echoing the work inspired by Amelie's collection. To conjure a novel rose, a breeder selects two parent plants possessing desired traits, perhaps one with a specific blush of coral, the other boasting an intoxicating sweet perfume. Pollen is carefully transferred between the chosen blooms, mimicking nature's pollinators. This cross-pollination prompts the formation of a rose hip, the fleshy vessel cradling the seeds of potential. Once ripened, these seeds are meticulously extracted, stored, and eventually sown within the controlled environment of a greenhouse. Seedlings exhibiting promise are transplanted outdoors, observed for their performance in the garden's embrace. This cycle repeats, patiently selecting for the desired characteristics. Professional breeders might undertake as many as 100,000 crosses, a painstaking process yielding perhaps only a handful of truly new hybrids after years of effort. They emerge in a kaleidoscope of colors, from deepest crimson to ethereal pastels, bearing names as evocative as their forms: Moonglow, Lavender Rhapsody, Velvet Ember, and countless others. And all the while, an ancient sentinel endures, a rose bush that continues its cycle of growth and bloom, year after patient year. Unlike the meticulously crafted hybrids, this specimen is pure, untamed nature. Known as the 1,000-year rose, it clings tenaciously to the walls of Hildesheim Cathedral in Germany. It bears little resemblance to the long-stemmed Valentine's icon or the manicured shrubs of Amelie's garden. It is a wild, sprawling being, scaling the ancient brickwork, a dog rose reaching 10 meters towards the sky. For much of the year, it appears as a dense tangle of woody vines. But annually, in late May, it erupts in a profusion of exquisite pale pink blossoms, releasing a delicate fragrance upon the air. Its name stems from the belief that its origins coincide with the cathedral's founding in the 9th century. Legend whispers that an emperor, finding a snow-covered mound inexplicably crowned by a blooming rose bush in midsummer, decreed a cathedral be built precisely on that spot, encircling the miraculous plant. Through centuries it grew, even surviving the devastating bombing of the cathedral during the Second World War. The allure of most flowers is ephemeral, a brief, bright spark. Yet, the 1,000-year rose seems to touch eternity. Each year, its blooms arrive and depart, yet their return is assured, a living emblem of hope, of resilience, of rebirth. And herein, perhaps, lies the rose's deepest beauty. It transcends the vibrancy of its petals, the heavenliness of its scent. It resides in the meanings we weave around it, a significance that persists long after the blossoms fade, as enduring as that first ancient flower, the rose that unfurled its petals 35 million years ago.